So we're going to open some vintage toys today, and if you saw my recent Lexington Comic and Toy Convention haul, you know that I came across a handful of KENNER Aliens figures, and I wasn't going to get anything like that. I was on the lookout for stuff like that, but I had no intention of coming home with a handful of them. I came back with 4 just because I got deals, so I couldn't resist the price plus nostalgia factor. So we've got 4 different figures, and I figured not going to do a review or anything. It's 20 plus years later. Just kind of look at them and open them up because they're all carded. 2 of them, the bubbles were just beyond repair. I can just pull the inner tray out with no problem. The others I'm actually going to have to actually open, but I'm going to save the cards. So we're just going to go through them one by one and take a look at them. So we've got the first one here. We've got the Bull Alien, and that's the theme for this particular line, is that they're all kind of animal based for the most part. There's a queen, and I want to say there's a warrior alien as well. And then of course we have a bunch of the Space Marines as well, and then there's a Ripley and stuff like that. But most of the xenomorphs are all these kind of wacky creations because the theme behind this is that the predators seed a world, and then what comes out of it is a bunch of crazy variations of your standard xenomorph. They've just taken over anything they can get a hold of. So this one is Bull based. So we've got pretty awesome card art, and I'm saving these cards, and I'm just gonna cut the bubbles off, and we've got really awesome cross sell on the back as well. It screams 90s to me, and that's really what it's all about. So we're gonna probably have to cut this guy out. Nope, I was able to get it. And they come in these little trays. This guy comes with a face hugger, which is pretty cool. So I don't know, I guess you can put it on your finger if you want. But it's like a translucent pink face hugger. So that on its own is worth the price of admission, especially for what I paid. So we've got a figure here, and he's zip tied in. We're going to pull him out. And they all have action features. I think they all do anyway. And this guy is really similar to one of the other ones. So we've got him here, and he's got moving legs, all 4 legs. He's got a rotating tail here. And the color scheme on it is just stellar. It's all very 90s stuff. Everything's kind of an exotic color, like a weird non-standard red. It's like a pink with a weird hue. We've got moving horns, which is sweet. I don't remember ever having this one as a kid. I had a handful of them. And then you can make the head pop out like that. And then once it's out, you can make it kind of rear its head back and forth. This one is really similar to one of the other ones that I've got. They have the exact same feature. And then the kind of spine things on the back, the things that come out of the spines on the back, they rotate as well. So I mean, it's just awesome classic stuff for me personally. You can get him to stand on all 4s, pop the head back and get him to stand like this, or then you can rear him up and he'll be able to stand on his 2 hind legs as well, especially when you've got the head out, because then he's like kind of standing straight up at you, which is really sweet. The detail on these guys is actually pretty stellar, especially for a 90s toy. It's mostly just there's not a lot of articulation, and then there's not tons and tons of paint apps. It's kind of an overspray, and then there's a lot of paint on the head. But it's really cool. This is the stuff that gets me when it comes to vintage toys, because I was born in '84, so a lot of toys that are considered the '80s lines, they were really done by the time I was old enough to have them. So this kind of stuff is where I really started getting into toys when I was a kid. Outside of the fact that my parents had me playing with He-Man and Thundercats when I was like 2 years old, but that's a different story. That's different than going to Toys R Us or Target or somewhere and actually buying stuff like this, because I remember going to the store and getting stuff like this relatively vividly. And then a lot of these, not all of them, come with a mini Dark Horse comic. And this is one of the things that NECA does. I don't know if they did it in the most recent way, because I still haven't actually gotten mine yet, where NECA's stuff came with recreations of these comics. So this one is Bull Alien Stampede. It's the 7th comic, and they've got a lot of just stuff in here done by Dark Horse that explains this particular alien and kind of more about it in conjunction with the greater story here. So like there he is right there, wreaking havoc or doing something. So we've got that guy, and yeah, I don't know. This one's really cool. When I saw this one, I knew I had to have it. I mean, I knew I had to have them all when I saw them, but that was one that really kind of jumped out at me. Next one we've got is the Scorpion Alien. This is one that you're going to be seeing more of when I get a hold of the NECA figure. I need to ship my Big Bad Toy Store pile of loot. It's grown considerably in the past week, so I need to ship it. This guy has the same backer card, but with his actual figure. That's kind of the same general thing. So you've got an alien there, and then you've got the scorpion alien, and then he's got the same kind of cross-sell. And then these guys have cutout cards that you could save. So they wanted you to save it in some fashion. And this guy has exploding body action, and then they have kind of the explanation of how to do it all down there. So I need to cut this one open a little bit more, because again, I want to save these cards. I don't know what I'm going to do with them, but I'm going to save them. Why not, right? Someone down the road may want to see my alien backer card art collection. This guy also comes with a face hugger, and I just now realized the whole deal behind it is that they're kind of themed to the color. So that bull alien is really pinkish, and this guy is kind of an amber color, so that's what their face huggers are. And again, it's kind of translucent, and they're little kind of grippy things, so you can put them on your fingers and all that stuff. And this guy comes with a comic as well. This is number 2, Scorpion Alien Operation Rescue. And they come rolled up, so they very much want to do this right now. But they're actually pretty cool. I do remember reading these as a kid when I had a few of these, because I had a couple of them. I had the Gorilla Alien, and I had the Mantis, and I had the Killer Crab, and I had the Panther that I recall. I might have had a few more, and then I had a bunch of the Predators. I was heavier on the Predator side, of course. I don't have many more, but I did. And then we've got this guy. Well, he's zip-tied, but he's zip-tied to himself, or twist-tied rather. So I guess I'll just unhook him. Oh, that's why, because he explodes. So we get to put him back together, I suppose. Hopefully he's not broken. That would be, I don't know, maybe make for a good video, I suppose. So you pop him together like that, I guess. Leave it to me to try to figure this out on camera without really knowing what I'm doing. So we're gonna read the instructions. So it says to trap the inner body between the front and back body halves. So here's the inner body. You can see his gruesome guts in there. And this thing moves. There's like a spring mechanism in there. And you can pop it in there. And then you trap it in there. And it doesn't really lock in place or anything. There's there are some little pins. I think it mostly just keeps it together. And then holding the two body halves together, press down on the head while snapping the lower body, like that. So yeah, it's really not that difficult. And then then there's a button on his back at the top of his tail back here that allows him to explode. So I just spent all that time looking like an idiot on camera trying to put this thing together, something that a 6 or 7 year old can do in the 90s. Come on. And then you push this button, and he pops apart. That's great. That's the stuff. That's the stuff of my childhood, I guess. So we've got a bunch of pieces of that on the floor. Next one, we've got the Killer Crab. This starts the 2 that are just destroyed. The cards are relatively okay. We've got a KB Toys sticker on this guy. And this guy had a promotion. I remember when you bought a few Aliens or Predator figures, and then you got a free Predator figure. And I don't remember what it is. I want to say it was a clear figure, but that sounds wrong too. So if someone remembers, let me know. But this guy is the Killer Crab. This is the figure that I want NECA to remake the most. I just love this thing. This is mostly like a big brick that shoots some junk out of its chest. It doesn't really do a lot because it has so many legs that just sort of swivel, but I love the idea behind this guy. And then he has a different cross-cell on the back. This features more of the AVP line. So we've got the Crack Tusk Predator, which I actually found the NECA version at the con, and we've got Scavenge, and then we've got an Alien vs. Predator 2-pack. This is where the Warrior comes from, and it shows some of the other stuff. So here's the Queen Facehugger, which NECA did, and then we've got the Flying Queen, the Rhino Alien, the Panther, the Snake, which NECA just did, the Killer Crab, and the Mantis, which is one of the ones that NECA did as well. So, this bubble is just destroyed. So we'll crack him out, and we'll take a look at this guy here, and get out. And we've got, this big guy here. So he's got a tail that kind of swivels back and forth, and he's got moving arms. All of his arms and legs move, but they just swivel. So really you can just kind of get him to maybe rear back up, and then you can rotate his head a little bit. But I just love the design. He's got these big crab claws. He's got these weird kind of pincer feet, and he's got actual normal hands. But he does have an action feature too, and I also love his color scheme. It's kind of a crimson color for the darker spots, and then a you know, a really bright 90s style red color. But then you've got two missiles that shoot out of his chest here. That I don't know what they're supposed to be. They have mouths on them though, so they're just spring loaded, and you pop them out there, and then they'll go flying. The one on the bottom does not really go as well as the one on the top because there's a tail in the way, but as you can see, you just get it and it'll go. So, you know, he's got two holes in his chest now, but this thing is just awesome. I really dig this figure. I think it's just one of my favorites. This is one that, you know, I always liked as a kid, and it's the one, again, that I want NECA to do the most. And I don't know, I hope they're going to go down the road and do all of them, but if not, you know, it's cool to have this guy now. And then the last one is the Rhino Alien, and this is the one that shares basically the same kind of setup as the Bull Alien. They're very similar. So you've got you know, some artwork here for the Rhino. This one has the most beat up card, and then he's got a thrashed bubble as well. This one does have the comic though, and then the back has got a different cross cell. It doesn't have any of the actual AVP stuff, so it's a little different, but kind of similar to the Killer Crab. So pull this guy out, and he's got, let's see what his comic is real quick. So he's got number 12. It's Rhino Alien Ice Storm, and this one, you know, it shows this one's about multiple Rhino aliens kind of going through, and there's like a queen alien mech suit kind of thing. I need to read through these because they look ridiculous, frankly, but it seems pretty cool. So this guy is really similar to the Bull Alien. He's got swiveling legs, he's got a head that goes up and down, and then you've got the spine things on the back that will twist. And then his action feature is the same. He's got a head that pops up, and then you can do the thing to make the head go back and forth a little bit. And then he can rear back on his hind legs, and he stands really well this way. If in fact, I'd prefer him this way. You get him up like that, have the head exposed and up, and then you pop the head down, and you can have him kind of reared back like an actual, you know, like an actual rhino would stand. And he's kind of orangey, amber, copper color almost. He's got power ramming action is what it says. But this one's one that, you know, I really was interested in snagging. This was the first one that I picked up at the convention, the first one that I saw, and then I found the others, two more at the same booth. So they kind of, you know, most of them all came together. The outsider was this guy, the Scorpion guy. So, I mean, that's it. That's pretty much all I wanted to do. I wanted to open them, and I figured we'd get it on camera, talk about them, show off the stuff they come with, show off the action features, the 90s goodness, because again, this is the stuff that does the nostalgia business for me when it comes to a lot of toys. You know, stuff from the 80s does it for me too, but as far as like remembering buying toys in the toy store, in the toy aisle, it's early 90s stuff that really does it for me. And this exemplifies early 90s to me. These figures and the Predators were a big thing for me to go try and find when I was out shopping with my mom. So that's it, guys. A quick look at, well, maybe not so quick. This is way too long. A look at some Kenner Aliens figures. Hopefully we will get to see, 3 of these recreated by NECA soon. But if not, it's cool to have the originals. I'll catch you later.